Hi, everybody. Now I can see you. I think I opened a stream and waited all along, but now it's working. Just saw the camera. So this is AMA number 3, and we have a bunch of updates today, and mostly wanted to do a discussion with you and hear your questions, and feel free to ask questions on the live chat. Yeah, that's it. So mainly we wanted to update about different moving parts. Right now, Fuse is building a lot of building blocks. One of them is FuseSwap, which I will talk about in a second. But around FuseSwap, we're also trying to tie everything together, whether it's staking, LP rewards. So we're about to launch a new program for LP rewards, which we will share in a few days. Too bad I can't share my screen on YouTube, but I'm happy to show you some snapshots of this a little bit later. The idea is that we're opening LP rewards on Fuse. So for the first time, we will actually give LP rewards for providing liquidity. So LP rewards, for those who doesn't know it, it's incentive for people to add liquidity on Uniswap. So currently we have LP rewards for on mainnet for providing liquidity for Fuse ETH pair. And this is something that we've built and launched about a month ago. Now we realize that actually it's working pretty well. People are engaging with it. There's a lot of stuff to improve. So as a lesson from previous experience, we decided to make the LP rewards, instead of 2 weeks, make it longer, a month. And instead of giving out 25,000 Fuse tokens, we increased it fourfold, 4 times. And we want to give more rewards for a longer period. And on top of that, we're also adding LP rewards for Fuse, which means that people can provide liquidity for FuseSwap and get rewards on Fuse, which is really cool because we had a lot of issues with gas. So we want users to have to do transactions on FuseSwap without gas, but also LP providers on the back end don't need to pay a lot of gas to put their Fuse into the LP reward system. So it's a better experience than doing it on mainnet, we hope. And this is what we want to test. So this is going to be live in a few days. Other than that, we launched staking last week. We're currently working on building more and more traction there, and just learn how to improve this in the future, including adding more validators, testing different governance methods or governance functionalities. Right now, all the Fuse governance is being done by a handful of validators, and it's not really public. So we're doing it on Telegram groups. We also have the forum to discuss like more long-term stuff, things that are a bit more fundamental to the network. We always release a FIP that's called a Fuse Improvement Protocol on GitHub. In the future, we want all of this activity to be public, and we want every token holder to kind of see what's under the hood. So every vote that we're doing should be public, and the results and even the participation should be counted. If we don't see a validator participating in the governance, we can vote him out. And this is something very, very fundamental and important before we move forward with building like crazy governance tools and ideas and new implementations. It's really the essential thing that what we're doing in Telegram will be public and everybody can see. And if someone doesn't want to participate, no problem. but we shouldn't have validators that are not participating in the governance. Happy to say that right now this is really not the case, but I think moving forward we need to be able to automatically grade validators by how much they participate. And we see a lot of companies that want to participate but just can't. So we need to build better interfaces and think about those issues. Another thing that we're constantly discussing is increasing adoption, adding partnerships, and really try to build Fuse as a solution that is as standalone as possible. And this would also be a big focus for us. We want to put bounties, we want to add ledger support, we want people to be able to use hardware wallets with MetaMask and standard industry tools, also backend infrastructure support, things like Torus, things like QuickNode. We reach out to different service providers that usually provide services on mainnet. We want them to provide services on Fuse as well. And just create like an ecosystem or a tool set around our stack. And it's a low-hanging fruit for us because pretty much any service provider on Ethereum can also be a service provider on Fuse. Just for example, a lot of our backend is built on the Graph. The Graph is one of the most important infrastructures being built on Ethereum and gives a lot of access to contract data. We run our own node, our own, instance of the Graph that is doing the same thing like the Graph, but on Fuse. And in the future, we would like companies like the Graph to support Fuse. We're willing to put a bounty and talk about how to increase adoption in the future and just pay handsomely to anybody that just wants to plug into Fuse. Because that's just increasing the developer adoption. Another thing that we wanted to update in terms of timeline, as I said at the beginning, we want to launch FuseSwap, but there's a lot of things we need to build before we can do it. And right now, what we decided is that we will launch it gradually over the next few weeks. So in the next week, we're focusing on launching LP rewards on Fuse. So before launching FuseSwap, first we want to build liquidity for FuseSwap. So there's going to be a mini site which we will share in the next few days with new LP rewards. We're all completely changing how it works. Now you'll be able to provide liquidity on mainnet and on Fuse. And this is going to be launched in the next few days. Right after that, and once we have a little bit of liquidity built on Fuse, we're launching FuseSwap quietly to our inner circle. It's not going to be a public launch. It's going to be more like a soft launch. And then after this is run a few weeks, then we're going to open it up to the public and really focus on adding this product to our to the rest of our tools, to the rest of our products. The end game is to allow people to use FuseSwap liquidity, but our own mobile interface. So that would be a first, give a really good experience for people that usually wouldn't use Uniswap otherwise. Part of the work that we're doing to launch FuseSwap is also fixing the bridge. And this is why we didn't launch yet FuseSwap to the public. We really wanted FuseSwap to be able to support the Fuse token. So if people are using, so right now anybody can put the Fuse token on FuseSwap, but if they want to move this over the bridge to mainnet, it would be a problem. So this is why everything is kind of connected with this FuseSwap release, both LP rewards, both and also the bridge. And over the next